Welcome, TullyAdventurers. Explore. Today we're remembering this past week
Celebrating our triumphs and commiserating the challenges.
and the unforced rhythms of grace.
TullyAdventurers.
Explore.
All right. What a week we have had.
Yes.
And for any of you who are following us on Twitch or are checking out our adventures on YouTube, you've seen we've been busy.
Yeah, we have.
There's a lot going on. It's been a lot of fun. Not everything has gone to plan.
Nope.
And there's definitely been some behind the scenes stuff that has also been part of what we've been going through. So let's start with last Sunday.
Last Sunday.
We went out looking for some bolts for the stabilizer.
Right. Okay. Went out looking for some bolts. Went to Lowe's. Right?
Yep. On Sundays we do Sunday setup
Yeah.
because on Monday we're going to do something to help keep our RV running.
Yep.
And so, go ahead. We went to Lowe's.
We looked and looked ourselves and said, nope, need some help. So asked a very nice gentleman there who said, nope, we don't carry that. You have to check out Ace Hardware. And you know, a lot of people would get frustrated with that no, but I appreciated it. Like, thank you for not spinning my wheels.
Yeah.
Just tell me no up front. Okay, now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm reminded that I should use my no power as well.
Ooh, okay.
Because that has not been, that is not a habit of mine.
Mm.
So then we took a drive over to a little neighborhood Ace Hardware around some beautiful houses.
Mm-hmm. We got to see some places that we normally wouldn't because it's not somewhere we plan to go.
Exactly.
It's not a tourist attraction or a traveler's place to be.
Yeah. And we went in there and there was this amazing gentleman in the hardware section. What I loved was that he knew everything about his product. Like, he knew, you know, let's try this, let's try this. If this doesn't work, come back, we'll give you this. Like, he knew his product. Anyway, I love that. Having owned small businesses over the years and traveling and, you know, checking out many small businesses, the one thing I recommend for everyone there is know your product. Know what you have, know what you don't have. It'll make a huge difference to the people visiting you.
Sure.
Anyway, and we came back and we're all set to go. Put everything in the bucket. It was ready to go. And the next day, what happened?
Oh, well, why don't you take a bite of your food?
Okay.
Yeah, so this is how our week went. Jen took a bite of her food, and then Jen was not available on Monday. Jen was feeling a little under the weather. Something we ate may have done her in. We ate at home, so there was no problem with the food here in New Orleans. But yeah, so I needed to do the Monday project on my own, and I think that video lasts about 5 minutes. There's about 5 minutes of me trying to connect to all of you and let you know that the bolts we got still don't work. So we have not put our last stabilizer on. 3 out of 4 stabilizers are connected to the trailer. The last one, we've been trying for 3 months, people, and we need your help. What would you do? The holes that are in our travel trailer are too small for the bolts that come with our stabilizer. And so we've been searching for the bolts that will fit. When I took the stabilizer off that had already been connected, I threw those bolts away. I threw everything away before figuring out, oh yeah, I'm gonna need to go find some new ones of these because they were rusted out. They weren't gonna work. But yeah, so. But I'm reminded that even though that project didn't work, God has a way of taking things that frustrate me and using them for good. And it's a good thing too, because the next thing that I remember about this week that particularly stands out to me, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are Jen's school days. She's in college. She's my college girl. And I asked her, we've gotten ourselves on this great schedule, and I asked her to help me with something that was going to take more of her time. And that's another reason she thought about remembering her no is a good thing, because man, I got so frustrated. I don't know how to do all this social media stuff, how to connect with people over social media well. I'm learning. I want to connect with all of you out there because we're full-time RVers, and it's always great to have people who know how to help with RV stuff. We're nomads, and we like to connect with other people who travel for a living and live a life where they don't stay in the same home all the time, or their home travels with them to different places. People who sail, people who live on their sailboats, people who live in RVs and vans and all of that. So I asked you to help me out, and you were feeling overwhelmed, already have so much stuff, but you said you would help. And man, we got so frustrated trying to set everything up and get everything together. And I left. I was trying to take him to the dog park. It was raining, so I couldn't take him to the dog park. I was trying to find an ATM so I could get some money. I couldn't find an ATM. Nothing was going right. And that was my opportunity to step back and say, okay, when nothing's going right, there's something wrong in me. There's something wrong about what I want or what I'm trying to get to have happen. And so something that you didn't see, it was not on camera, was our conversation when I got home about, I asked you for something that is outside the realm, it's outside of your lane. What I've asked Jennifer to do is be our art director. And so when you look at our shirts and you look at you look at this Tully crest that we have, she put that all together. She created that. She has an amazing ability to create art. What I was asking her to do was marketing and social media stuff and all of that, and that's not in her lane. So if she had been able to say no and willing to say no, we could have missed out on a lot of frustration. I would have still been personally frustrated, but I would have had the opportunity to figure out what I needed to do. And so I'm really grateful God frustrated our plans and caused us to have to figure out what is it that we're wanting that's not in alignment with who God made us to be. So that's how I see it, and luckily we're still married, because let me tell you, we both were on that. We were so frustrated. We were at that place where it was really easy to blame each other. It must be my spouse's fault that I'm this frustrated. It can't be that I personally have done something wrong. And in that situation, we both had done something wrong. And so I will do here with all of you the same thing that I did when we got to the end of that conversation. Jennifer, I'm sorry. What I did was wrong. Will you forgive me?
I will. Will you tell the listeners what your specific role in the wrong part was, and then I'll tell them mine.
As far as I understand, it was asking you to do something that was outside of your lane. I was frustrated and scared of having to learn all this social media stuff and the right way to connect with people on social media. And instead of admitting that to you, I chose to put that pressure on you that I was feeling to do for me what I needed to do myself. So that's what I'm apologizing for.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, I'm sorry. What I did was wrong. Will you please forgive me?
Yes, I will.
My wrongdoing was not saying no. Was saying yes to something that I knew I hadn't agreed to, and I didn't have time or energy for. And I was feeling like this is your responsibility, and yet I still said yes. So that's my part. Working on that no thing.
So luckily, I think it was Monday, I still did go and get propane.
Yes.
So our RV is set up to take care of us while we're here.
Mm-hmm.
What happened on Wednesday? Go ahead and tell the people about Wednesday wash. Now you took a bite, so now I got to talk. Wednesday wash is our day to clean the house and clean the truck. So I went out and I vacuumed the truck while Jen was in here cleaning the inside of our RV so that we can feel comfortable living. And then after that, we play games and enjoy some time just relaxing, not pressuring ourselves to do work. So how'd that all go for you, my love?
I learned that I can clean the house much more efficiently when nobody's in it.
Why would that be a revelation to you? What is it you normally want?
I normally want people to be around. I want you and B to be around.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're around, I want to interact with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to be cleaning. So I clean much more efficiently. I can enjoy that process. When nobody's here and I'm cleaning by myself, I actually do enjoy the time. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the outcome. It's good. But when you're here, I don't want to do that. So I was able to get a lot done in the time frame that we set up. And honestly, for me, I was just enjoying it. I forget sometimes that I like alone time. And then suddenly I'm frustrated with you and B because you're, well, breathing or taking up space or existing or whatever. But after you're gone for a while, then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I like them.
And then how was our game time?
Our game time was great. We started with a game that, a Monopoly card game that historically you beat me at. But I still like playing because I still work on my strategy and all that. It's a good game. It requires a lot of thought, thinking about many things at once. And then we shifted to my game, which is a form of gin, and I loved hearing your stories.
Mm-hmm. So we told stories, and you can check that out on our YouTube and see how playing games together and telling some stories turned into learning a lot about each other and how we interact with the world. And because we had that time together when we specifically set aside to not be busy doing other things and to really spend time with each other, it opened up some time off camera as well, where we were feeling more trusting of each other to consider some of our inner vows and some things that we do to try to control the amount of suffering we go through and the hurt that we feel. And trying to figure out your inner vows on your own, you might, I think I figured out maybe one on my own in the last 40 years of life. And just having this scheduled time where it really feels like we're taking care of everything we need to take care of. We have alone time, we have time together, knowing that there's specific time for all these things, because we are not people who like to schedule. We are adventure people. Let's just go out there and see what happens. We love that. And we've had some great adventures because of that. We're going to have a great adventure later today because of that. But having the schedule, I cleaned the truck out a little bit, and now I'm excited for next Wednesday when I get to clean the truck some more and have it be even nicer to interact with and nicer for my wife. But if we don't schedule those things, then we don't spend time together. And so we've been doing inner vows for almost 2 months now, I think about. And particularly with this time that's scheduled and knowing that all these other things are taken care of, I think in the last week we've opened up 2 or 3 more of my inner vows. I don't think I would have gotten to those on my own for another 40 years. So How about for you? How's the inner vow thing going for you?
It's funny having that schedule and knowing that it's a single task during the time frames that we've set aside. And we haven't scheduled every minute of every day. There's definitely breaks in there, and but having only that single task scheduled at a time just frees up my mind, frees up my feelings, frees me up a lot. Because otherwise I'm thinking about what's next. Like, oh, don't forget to this or that or whatever. And since my tendency is to move towards work, particularly in times of stress, it was nice to not be able to worry about that. To worry about my deadlines and worry about my assignments that need to get done, and how am I going to fit that in and spend time with you? Because let's face it, I'd rather spend time with Kirk and the dog than do my homework. And at the same time, I'm a perfectionist, or have been in the past, and so those two things compete. So I'm able to spend some time on my inner vows. I'm also able to have more patience for yours. I felt like I generally had much more patience for you this week.
How about that? Very cool. So that takes us through Wednesday. Thursday was another school day. I did the laundry because that's one of my ways of helping keep the house going. And you can check out some photos and on Instagram for all of that. And we have a TikTok as well where we share a lot of what the dog does and then some of the goofy things that we do. So come check us out on our social medias. Like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is for all of those things. Come chat with us on Twitch. We love to have you be part of our adventure. And that takes us to Friday Fun. Oh, yeah. What did we do for Friday Fun? Oh, and make sure you say it correctly because we learned something on our Friday Fun.
We thought we were going on a voodoo tour. We ended up learning about voodoo and vaudin.
Ooh.
What I thought we were going on was like witch doctors and sacrifices and voodoo dolls and all that craziness. And it turns out it didn't have nothing to do with that. And we met the high priest Roby. He led our tour, and his family has been engaged in the religion of voodoo.
And yes, folks, it is what you call voodoo, but we learned that it is actually called voodoo.
Anyway, we learned that his family has been living in that area of New Orleans since they were brought here as slaves. And they don't practice voodoo. They are engaged in the religion of voodoo. And I learned that it is offensive to say that somebody practices voodoo.
Yep.
Because that is their faith. Some interesting things for me.
Yeah.
They believe in one deity, not multiple. And they call that one deity, what do they call him?
I don't remember.
God.
Oh, no!
They also believe that in that hierarchy, there's another kind of in-between level between human and God, and that they call those spirits. Very closely related to Catholicism, where Catholics call those saints. And but for them, they call upon those spirits as an intermediary between them and God. So that was just so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
So fascinating. Got to learn about their symbols that they draw on the ground and why they draw symbols and how familial it is.
and why we think it's all devil worship.
Yes.
Because that's what the Catholic Church claimed that it was.
Yes.
If you were not Catholic or serving the Catholic Church, then whatever you did was devil worship. So, fascinating stuff.
Truth.
And you can watch that video, and realistically, if you really want to find out more, come on down to New Orleans. We did free tours by foot, and that's how we got to take this tour, so it didn't cost us anything. We met there, we walked around for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Not a whole lot of walking, but a lot of history, a lot of interesting information, and the I don't know how I feel about this part. I think mostly embarrassed, but I got flirted with a little bit by this by our tour guide, which did actually make the tour more fun and more funny. But you could see some of my reactions to that. We didn't catch all of it on camera, which I'm okay with. But definitely had me turning red and getting embarrassed, and still made it fun, made it an enjoyable and amusing tour. And so really had a great time. And if you get a chance to go on a tour, go on this tour in particular, it is called the Voodoo Tour, although you will learn that it is Vodou. And if you can get Roby as your tour guide, you will have a great time. Oh, it was fantastic. So then we actually spent a little time just hanging around in the French Quarter, and that was lovely. Oh, it was nice to just relax a little bit. We didn't have anything specific planned for the rest of the day. We had some things that we could have done, but if you check our Instagram, once again, you'll see some pictures of the places we went to, and it was really nice to just feel like we had a day off, or at least some time off. We didn't take the dog with us. We didn't, so it was nice to just feel that release of pressure and be able to just enjoy the city a little bit. Yeah.
It was fun walking around the French Quarter, and you got to experience a particular beverage that we had some hurricanes. Went to a place that's all they sell.
Yeah.
Oh, and they were so gracious, the people that worked there.
Fantastic. And you could just walk around the city enjoying those adult beverages.
Yeah.
You can have an adult slushie.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. And it just kind of helped us loosen up and relax, and then we could just enjoy seeing all the places in that area of the city.
Yeah.
I really had a good time.
Me too.
And once again, all of these videos are on YouTube. You can check them out. I'm going to do my best to get some highlight reels, so if you're one of those people who needs a 15-second TikTok and flip into the next one, I'm hoping I can get some of those out to you. But what a great week we've had. And then yesterday,
we took a private dance lesson.
Woohoo!
So we had taken like a very small little group lesson for two-step way back when we were in Austin.
Texas two-step.
Yes, and we've tried to do it. And this last Saturday we were trying, and we were just not communicating well. And we were both frustrated over it, and trying to laugh, but really just frustrated. So Kirk suggested we take a private lesson, and I think we both just hemmed and hawed over paying for it. Just, we could just watch some YouTube videos. And but we went, and oh my gosh, what a good time. I wasn't nervous. The dance instructor was so good and so relaxed, and it was just amazing. So, yeah. I was talking to our son Nick, and I was telling him, hey, we're going to take this private dance lesson. He's like, yep, you better call in the professionals. Anyway, it was good.
Big shout out to Stefan at the Starlight Ballroom in Metairie. I don't know how to say it. I can't get that French.
Yeah. But
Metairie, Louisiana. And once again, all of that's on our Instagram and all of our social media places. You can check it out. But yes, he was fantastic and helped us understand when to do the different moves, how to do the different moves, how to communicate with each other and understand what the communication meant. I have a tendency when I'm partner dancing to maybe be a little bit too gentle. I'm a big guy, so I don't want to push people around too much. And so I figured out I was doing okay leading as far as moving my whole body, but when it came time to move, to make those moves and allow the female to do some of the fancier stuff, I wasn't giving strong enough guidance. And so that was really helpful for me. We then went to a group dance, and best part of going to a group dance is you figure out, you get to dance with other partners and see how they do things differently. So Jen found out that some of the female, or some of the guys that she was dancing with are stronger in their guidance and leading, and some of them are and maybe too strong for her personally, and some of them are less strong as they move her around, and so she doesn't know quite what to do, and she's feeling a little scared. Whereas I learned that some women, when they really know what they're doing, they can just kind of do the move without you moving them barely at all, and others need a lot more movement and guidance. And so I thought it was a fantastic way to learn about myself, and also to learn how to interact with you and communicate with you better.
Yeah, I definitely learned like what I need and I was able to communicate that. Like, okay, when you want me to do this, I need just a little bit more push on this hand, because then I'll recognize the cue. Otherwise, I'll miss it.
Sure.
So that was cool. We were able to communicate much better. And then you helped me have a big discovery.
Ooh, okay.
So there was a particular move that they were wanting me to do, and I thought in my head, I just can't do this. Like, I'm trying, but I just can't do this. And I didn't recognize I was having pain. And I didn't recognize how tired I was. I just wanted to do it. And I had been excited, and I just wanted to do it. And there comes a point where you just have to stop. I just have to stop. Not you, me. And so that's a hard one for me. I grew up believing you just need to push through. And then as a teenager, I played sports, and they were very difficult sports where that served me well. And then I got to be an adult, and 30 plus years behind the chair of pushing through has not done my body well. Not at all. It's not okay to not have limits, particularly when it comes to work. And it's funny, for the last 10 years, I've definitely taught that to people, that do that as you begin. Set your hours, stick to them, don't deviate. And I guess I'm just so emphatic about that because that's what I did to myself. I believe that, go ahead and add that client on the end of the day, or shoot, I've got to get them all in. It's going to be a holiday. Let me put them here. And what I'm really saying is that your time is more valuable than mine. And that's just not the case. Because the truth is, high demand comes from limited schedule. So, anyway, once you helped me figure out that it was okay to be tired and say, I'm done. And to say, no, I'm not available to even talk to you right now. That concept was totally foreign until I met you. And I thought that was so rude when you would say that to me. I thought that was the rudest thing I'd ever heard. What do you mean you can't talk to me? But the truth is, there are times we're not available. And when we say we are, and we're actually not physically or mentally or spiritually or whatever available, then we can't listen well. And then the other person gets frustrated because we didn't hear what they said, and on and on and on. So, big lesson.
Fantastic.
And the worst part of that lesson was, in the midst of that lesson, damn if I didn't have to stop by Costco on the way home and pick up some meds.
There was always more stuff that needs to get done, and we're tired and cranky and hangry and all kinds of things. And yep, still had to handle some life business that we had pushed along in the. That was one of those things we were going to do on Friday, and we ended up not doing it. But it was so nice to get that rest and time off. So we're not perfect. We're learning how to do this schedule thing together and make time for ourselves and make time for each other, make time to take care of the dog. It's a lot.
And it's not always convenient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always want to be on this schedule.
Sure, of course not.
There are mornings I do not want to wake up. I'm sure there are mornings you do not want to take the dog out.
Absolutely.
And he's such a good dog. He only makes that whine sound, and it's very, to other people, it's very soft. To us, it is the loudest thing in the world. And he only does it when he actually needs something.
Yeah.
But even still, some days,
But it's a great way to learn to tune, like we're tuned to his whine. Just like I'm guessing you were tuned to your children's crying or, them saying something. So, yep. But that brings us to this schedule. Yes. And it's time. So that was our rest time. Let's do the most important part of the rest time. God, thank you so much for this week. Thank you for blessing us. Thank you for blessing us with challenges that forced us to recognize or allowed us to recognize. It didn't force us. We could have stayed stubborn. I know I have. But you allowed us the opportunity to recognize some ways that we were not taking care of ourselves and not taking care of each other. You gave us so much fun and so many great moments. Thank you for all of your blessings, and thank you that this schedule is a blessing even when we don't like it. Thank you that you love us and you're so good to us. Help us to honor you as we move into this next week. And thank you for your son who died for us so that we can have relationship with you. Thank you that you show us how to have relationship. You have great boundaries. You hold them. You hold people responsible to live up to those boundaries if they're going to be in relationship with you. You have a great no and a great yes. And you are our perfect example of how to interact with the world and life. We love you. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So now we come into our renegotiate phase. That was resting. It was remembering how good the week was, just taking some time to not think about ourselves per se, but think about all the blessings that God has given us and all the things we got to do. And now we get to renegotiate our week. Were there things that didn't work? Were there things that did? And this is not about holding ourselves to being perfect.
No.
But it is our opportunity to consider are there some ways that we could have done things better? Are there some things that I'm taking responsibility for that are not my responsibility? So Jen, what do you have?
All right, so since we started this whole cleaning thing, I have some gray areas that I want to clear up.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to pose these as questions.
That would be helpful.
That are opening up discussion, not expecting you to have the answer.
Okay.
How was that for setting that up?
That was excellent. Good job. Well done.
Okay, so first topic is, what do we do about late night dishes? Dishes that happen long after dinner and those dishes have been done and put away.
So our agreement about dishes is what?
Whoever cooks cleans.
Okay. And we each take 3 days of the week, and then you actually take 4 because you have Sunday. But I take the days that you're going to school so that you can focus on school. So first I think we need to define what late night is. Is it basically after dinner we do the dinner dishes and then everyone's responsible for their own dishes? So that would be about 7 or 8 o'clock. After dinner is how we could pose it, as long as the person who made dinner cleans the dinner dishes and the sink's all clear. Anything that happens between that time and we'll call it 7 a.m. or breakfast, really. So between dinner and breakfast is our late night. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. My suggestion is, if you make the mess, you clean it up.
Okay.
So any dishes I use, I've got to clean. Any dishes you use, you've got to clean. How do you feel about that? Is that a yes, no, or a maybe? Do you have a different idea that you would prefer?
I like it, but I'd like to expand on it. So first you said any mess that you make, and then you said dishes. So I just want to clear that up, that if you spill stuff on the counter, we clean it up. If we, cook something and splatter grease all over the stove, we clean that up. So whatever mess we make in the kitchen, we clean up.
So what's the goal?
The goal is so that we don't have frustration with each other.
Okay, let me ask it a different way. What is the physical goal? What should the kitchen look like in the morning for whoever's going to make breakfast?
It should be clean and clear for them.
Okay. It should. So I'm asking you this on purpose, not to derail what we're going through, but I want to make a clarification because I don't want to use these words wrongly in another time. Are you emotionally available to hear something that might be painful?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
So if there's another way you could put it, that it's not personal, that would be fantastic.
I'm good with what we're saying so far. We want to have a clean kitchen so that whoever is making breakfast is going to be able to do it without stuff in the way. I'm good with that. Okay. All right. Good job using your no. That was awesome.
Yeah, that didn't feel good, just so you know. That did not feel good at all.
But I personally, knowing how our conversations have gone in the past, I believe that the pain that you felt saying no is much less than the pain that would have come from the conversation we had. So, all right, what else? What's next?
Air fryer.
Okay.
Who cleans it? When does it get cleaned? How often does it get cleaned? I have a suggestion.
Okay.
I would suggest that whoever's on dishes for the day, that they clean out the air fryer that day, if it's been used.
Just once? So like we use it to make our breakfast sausage, and then it can just stay like that. Whoever's going to use it for lunch, or if someone uses it for lunch, it can stay like that. And then only at dinner, after dinner, we clean out the air fryer.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know either, because there are days when it's a lot to deal with. We have a bunch of dishes or whatever, and the dog is having his day and all that. So I think what I'm hearing is that your goal is for the air fryer to get cleaned at least once a day. I think maybe we can start with that. And however that works out over the week, we'll come back next week and renegotiate again.
Okay, I like that.
All right.
I can agree to that.
Okay.
Shower curtain.
What about it?
What's the schedule for washing the shower curtain? Because it's troubling me. That thing stinks, and I would prefer. This is just my suggestion, and it's open for discussion. That it gets washed every week.
Okay. So I'm having a struggle right now because the shower curtain is not what stinks in the shower right now. After you mopped on Wednesday, you left the mop head that was still wet and a washcloth, and we hung them up inside the shower, and they never got moved.
Oh, okay.
And now they stink of mold and Lord knows what.
Okay.
And that's what's actually stinking right now, not the shower curtain.
Okay.
So we can still have a conversation about when is the shower curtain going to get washed in the laundry. I'm open to that, but that's not what smells in the bathroom right now.
Okay.
I will wash the shower curtain every other week. And my rebuttal or my no, that's what I will do. What I'm going to ask you to do is to leave the shower curtain open after you get done showering so that the fan in there can dry it off and it doesn't collect all that moisture stuck together. So that it won't get as nasty as quick.
Okay. Let's try that and see how that works.
Okay. So how do I hold you accountable to having the shower curtain open so that, how can I say that to you in a way that you will be able to hear and hopefully not fight against me on?
It might sound something like, I thought we agreed to leave the shower curtain open so it could dry out.
Okay.
That would be a good gentle reminder for this week.
I don't see that going very well. On a day, particularly when you're 3. Hey Jen, I thought that we agreed to leave the shower curtain open. What's your response to that going to be?
I don't know. That sounds actually pretty good to me.
All right, we'll try it.
Okay.
And we'll renegotiate next week if it doesn't work. Fascinating. All right, you got anything else?
No.
Okay. So what I hear you saying is that you are comfortable with the amount of personal time that you're getting to nap and rest and deal with everything, and you are okay with our schedule and the amount of things that we're doing.
As far as I can remember, yes.
Okay. When is grocery day?
We had agreed that grocery day would be Friday in the afternoon after lunch.
Okay.
But this week we decided to go walk around the French Quarter instead of going, and then that posed a problem.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means we need to reschedule it, or if that means we just need to, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
All right. I don't know either. I don't know what time you have specifically scheduled for self-care, for taking naps and whatever it is you need to do. Because we had such a good time this Friday in the morning, we wanted to just keep having a good time. I will say that it definitely cost us the rest of the day. So maybe it seems like the lesson that we need to learn is that on Fridays, we definitely still go have some fun. And when that time is done, we come home and that's our time. Because having a schedule is great, and then when we go off schedule, that seems to be when the troubles come. So is that what we're going to agree to?
It's so hard because I had such a good time.
Absolutely.
And then I think to myself, did I have such a good time because it was just nice to relax, or did I have such a good time because I knew I was going off schedule?
We might be a little rebellious.
How about this? If we
I know part of the problem is you're responsible for getting groceries. So this really is up to you. if you choose to get groceries on Wednesday, then we have the ability to go off schedule on Friday. But if you don't get groceries any other time of the week, then yeah, Friday you're going to need to, because then when we go out on Saturday or whatever we're doing, also on Friday, we didn't have the to-go food easily available for lunches.
Right.
So that was, we made it work, of course, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta stay on schedule.
All right. Well, that for today is our rest and renegotiate. So once again, come check us out on all our social media sites. Come be a part of what we're doing. We'd love to have you as part of our journey. So grateful for all of you to be here.
May your day be blessed
as you pass each test
by trusting God's best
and accepting God's rest.
TullyAdventurers,
TullyAdventurers, explore.